Shadow here, repping 52 BTK. Let's talk about it. Just want to chop it up with you a little bit. So, I'm born 1973, man. I grew up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, through the 70s and the 80s. I was in Bed-Stuy up until I got arrested and went away, right, in the early 90s. And anybody who knows that Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn in general was a rough area in New York. Bed-Stuy was no less rough than anywhere else in Brooklyn, right? And there were games we played as kids that we played them for fun, right? And we enjoyed playing them, not understanding that those games were preparing us for something more than fun, right? Those games were teaching us survival skills. And nobody ever really took the time to tell us or point out the fact that we were learning survival skills from playing those games. It was something that I figured out on my own, right? I'll give you an example. One of the games we used to play was something called Open Net, right? And essentially what that was, for any of you who may be unfamiliar with that, was that a group of friends would all agree that if anybody gets caught with the back of their neck exposed, he could be slapped in the neck, right? And it only took to get slapped in the neck one time to realize you didn't want to get slapped in the neck again. So it forced you to develop awareness of your surroundings, right? Situational awareness. But as a kid, you're not thinking about that. You're only thinking that you don't want to get slapped in the neck. But as you grow and you start getting caught up in the life and you start becoming aware of the fact that you pay attention to detail, you don't even make that connection that comes from you playing open neck. You just think that, you know how to be on point. But that being on point comes from playing games like open neck. See, open neck teaches you as an individual who may get slapped how to pay attention to your surroundings, but it also teaches you how to close the distance between you and a potential target unnoticed, right? Because I can't slap you in your neck if I can't get close enough to do it, and if you see me coming, you're not going to let me slap you in the neck. So I got to be able to close that distance and slap you in your neck before you realize that the threat exists. So see, that's teaching you another survival skill, right? Because if you grow up and you get into the life, you're learning how to, now it's not your friend you're trying to get close up on and not be noticed. It's a potential victim, right? A potential target you're trying to get close up on and not noticed. But that training started with you playing games like Open Neck with your friends. Another thing it does is teach you how to respond to getting hit as opposed to reacting how to when you get hit. See, there's a difference between response and reaction. Reaction is what happens naturally, right? The first time you get smacked in the neck and you're like, oh, yo, what the fuck, right? That's a reaction. But a response is, you go, because there's always that one friend who has to be extra, right? He can't just hit you on the neck like this, open neck, yeah, it was fun. He's got to come from all the way back here and try to separate your head from the rest of your body when he slaps you. And it only takes him to do that the one time for you to realize, yeah, that's not going to happen again. So the next time you get slapped, you turn around with your guard up and you looking to fight. You're not disoriented. You're not trying to figure out what happened. You feel the sensation. Your body registers that this is similar to the last time I got slapped, so it knows what to do. It has an expectation of what's taking place, and you start reacting accordingly. See, that goes in with that saying about you don't rise to the level of your expectation, you fall to the level of your training. Growing up in Brooklyn, almost every game we played was in one form or another a type of training, right? See, open neck was one. Another one was snatchies, right? Snatchies was rough game, man, because it involved food, right? So you and your friends, again, you all agree that if you don't call snatchies on whatever is in your hand, somebody can grab it. See, and people got to hear you say snatches, so you can't just go in the pizza shop, say snatches, and boom. Other players have to hear you say snatches. So now if I like pizza and I see you come out the pizza shop and you didn't see me, I have to learn to close the distance between myself and you without you noticing me, so I can snatch that thing out your hand. And when I snatch it, I got to yell snatches because you can snatch it right back. Right? See, training again, man. Situational awareness. Learning how to close the distance between you and a potential target without being noticed. All of these were things that, if you get into the life or just being in life in general, helps you later in life, right? Because now you learn how not to view the world as a victim, right? Now you learn how to respond to getting hit as opposed to reacting to getting hit. And that's major, right? Because here's some reality for you. People who train, right, but have never been hit unexpectedly really don't know what they're going to do when they get hit, right? They may think they're going to do something, but what you think you're going to do and what you actually do are not always the same thing, man. Yo, if you've never been sucker punched, right? And I'm not talking about the sucker punch that comes when you and somebody are arguing, and I'm talking about you're walking along minding your business and somebody just blindsides you. If you've never been hit like that, right? The chances are you have no way to respond to that. Your body's going to react. And you're just going to react like this because, see, this is something that guys in the street know. Pain is a distraction, right? If I hit you and you've never been hit like that before, your mind is trying to understand where the pain, see, the pain registers. Your mind is trying to figure out where did that pain come from because it has nothing to make a comparison to. There is no point of reference. There's no reference point, right? It can't say, oh, this happened before and the last time this happened, this was the cause, right? So your brain is trying to figure out what transpired, right? And while your brain is trying to figure out what transpired, depending on the individual's intent, you might either be getting hit, or they may be getting hit again, or they may be going in your pockets, or they may be choking you out, or any number of things could happen, right? Because you don't know how to respond to that. But when you've been sucker punched before, right, and it's not like you just get sucker punched one time and your body knows how to respond to that, right? The reality is when you grow up in rough neighborhoods, wherever you're from, right, you probably got sucker punched at least 2-3 times in your life, right? By the second and third time, you go from doing this to coming up like this, right? Unless they shut down your computer, unless they hit you hard enough that they put you out, your body automatically goes into self-protection mode, self-preservation mode. Boom, the hands come up, the chin goes down, shoulders up, so that way you're protected, right? You might not know where the threat is coming. You know you got hit, boom, and your body turns in that direction with your hands and everything up, prepped for you to defend and attack, right? Depending on where your head is at, right? But that comes from training, man, right? See, when you play games, and again, like I said, there's always that one friend who has to be extra. When you have friends like that, and they're hitting you in the back of your neck like that, right? And, as a kid, you don't understand how detrimental that could be, right? But, that's all brainstem right there. You could do some serious damage with that, right? So, with dudes smacking you like that, you kind of build up a tolerance for getting hit like that, right? So now when you get sucker punched by somebody else, it's just like your body is in go mode. You've taught yourself what to do. Your body knows how to respond in that situation, right? And that starts with games, right? In my neighborhood, right? And I'm, from what I understand, just about every neighborhood that I'm aware of in New York City, kids play those games, man. And I'm sure they have similar games to those in other areas in the United States, right? Probably around the world. But the point of this is we never really understand or appreciate the value of the games we play as children, right? Like there are a lot of games that I've had time to sit and think about the value of them, and perhaps that'll be the topic of some discussion going on in the future, right? Later on down the line. But right now, it was in my head, and I was thinking about, the benefit of open neck snatches, right? And a major thing with that is that element of self-defense or self-protection training is missing a lot of the times. A lot of what you see is I'm getting grabbed or the person is right in front of me in my face, but rarely do you see what you do after that sucker punch that came from the blind side that you didn't see coming, right? You didn't even know you were about to be attacked. The guy just crept up on you and boom. You crossed your T's and dotted your I's and you still got caught short. A lot of systems, a lot of self-defense schools, period, whatever, right, don't cover that, right? But in the hood, we did, right? So, just think about that, right? Think about some of the games you played as children and how they may have positively influence or inform your martial practice or combative practice now, right? I'm sure that there's going to be at least one or two games that you played as a child that had principles and concepts that you find are actually applicable in what you're doing in your training today. But something that was on my mind, just wanted to share it with you, man. My 52 cents. Take it, leave it alone. Shadow 52 VTK. Like, comment, share, and I'll see you on the other side. Harambe.